Hello, good evening, and welcome to PM Express. Tonight, I have a special guest. He's been on my show many times, but when he was on my show in the past, he's been on it as a leader in the House, a significant player at that. He was the minority chief whip, and then, obviously, we know what happened. One evening, we woke up in the morning, after that evening when I was speaking to his former boss, the minority leader, we realized that he's no longer the minority chief whip. Since then, we haven't really had a conversation, but a lot has happened. In fact, since he ceased to be the minority chief whip, he also contested in the party's primary. I'm talking about the NDC's primary, and was a really tough one for him. Yeah, but in the end, he won it quite comfortably. But in the lead up to that particular contest, there was a lot of acrimony, and on the day itself, it was very controversial. He survived it all and came out swinging. He's my guest tonight, and I possibly want to believe it's his proper first sit-down conversation since he ceased to be minority chief whip and since he won the last primary in Asawase. He is the former minority chief whip, the NDC minority chief whip, and the member of parliament for Asawase in the Ashanti region. Muntaka Mubarak. Thank you very much, sir, for your time.
You're welcome.
On PM Express.
With the end of the federal public health emergency, the federal government is no longer automatically renewing Medicaid coverage. Nearly 300,000 Prince George's County Medicaid participants must reapply for benefits during the redetermination period, which began in April and runs through May 2024. To continue your coverage, call Maryland Health Connections at 1-855-642-8572. That's 1-855-642-8572.
Pete Sweeney, Director of Operations at United Tool and Die Company in West Hartford, is glad Tab Computer Systems Patrol Dog is on duty.
We get complete monitoring from Tab through Patrol Dog, monitors our servers and provides Tab with an alert, and in turn they advise us when there's an issue.
Tab's Patrol Dog is also on guard against suspicious emails.
We also have the email monitoring where Patrol Dog quarantines any suspicious emails and notifies the users ahead of time.
Patrol Dog is just one of the reasons Pete switched to Tab, the ASP, actual service provider of MSPs. As one of the world's top-ranked MSPs according to Channel Futures, Tab actually provides superior IT services month to month with no long-term contracts. By switching to Tab, Pete Sweeney is saving his company thousands.
I would 100% recommend Tab.
Call Tab at 1-888-TAB-4-HELP, 1-888-TAB-4-HELP, or visit tabinc.com. Technologies advancing business. Tab Computer Systems.
And great to have you. As I was introducing, we haven't sat down since you ceased to be minority leader and since you won. And I must confess, when I first entered today, I got lost a bit because I went to your old office, yes, and I was arguing with the leader that that's his office, and he says, no, that's my office.
2014, so for almost 9 years, that has been my office. So a lot of people do. They come looking for me and they forget that I'm no longer in leadership, then they go straight to that was the leadership office. So
yeah, I mean,
I'm no longer in the office.
This is the first time you're occupying this one. This
well, the job station that we came into the job station there in 2014 when I was already a majority chief whip. So this is the first time.
So you've always had a leader's office?
Yes, I've always had a leader's office.
So the first time you're having
a cubicle.
And then I'm pretty sure you may not see it on television, but this is significantly smaller.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Than when I interviewed you in the last
smaller,
time. But how are you? Surviving in the midst of this new?
No. I mean, that is how life is. I mean, if you are the type who has never gone down and come up before, you may find it difficult. But for those of us who have fallen and risen several times, you get used to it because. I mean, I always tell people, the very first day you get sworn in as a member of parliament, you should remember, that will be the last day you will be a member of parliament. So always have that at the back of your mind. And not the same, if you were appointed a minister and you are going to enter the office, just know that there will be a last day you will be walking out of that office. But the same way, I mean, the first day I got to be the chief whip, I knew there would be a day that I would no longer be the chief whip, except maybe the way it was done, but I mean, obviously you have to put all those things behind you. But life goes on. The most significant thing is that I try to represent my people in Asawase, which is the most important thing for me.
Have you fully come to terms with your new position as an ordinary member of Parliament?
Yeah, sure.
Fully come to terms?
Yeah. Because, a lot of people view you around, especially someone like myself and Chairman Sabonsu. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it is Chairman Sabonsu, the Speaker himself. That's one of the chairmen. I'm talking about the majority leader. The Speaker himself, Honorable Barbin, myself, seem to have been in the leadership the longest. So, from the car park all the way to your office, everybody keeps saluting you for a very long period of time. And all of a sudden, you wake up and you're ordinary, and the people forget, and they continue to give you those courtesies. It's heartwarming. And believe me, I didn't know that we're also really carrying so much load until I ceased to be the chief whip. Now I'm a bit more relaxed. I don't have to be attending the early morning meetings, the late hour meetings, because you have to now plan the day. All this now is for others to do, and then you just follow. So, like people say, everything has its strengths and weaknesses. Everything has its advantages and disadvantages. And I can tell you, I rest more now. I spend more time with the family. Holiday a little longer and all that. Before, you just can't. But now I'm able to do a little more things. And it may be interesting to know. Now I've picked up teaching, and I'm doing.
Oh, you know?
At UPSA, I'm teaching leadership. So I'm now getting the opportunity to share my experience with younger generation of our country. So for me, it's a new horizon, and you just take advantage of every opportunity that comes your way. Just as you may see it as an adversary, but it comes with opportunity, and I'm taking full advantage of that.
You've really turned this around very quickly, to the point that you've now quickly already taken up a new role as a teacher.
Yeah.
Had you always planned for that to happen, or this was by chance and coincidence?
Let me admit, when I first came to this house, I was already having my masters and those things, and it was something that I started with GIMPA. But for a very short period of time as an adjunct lecturer, I didn't even get a class. When I was appointed, then we won the 2008 election. So I didn't get the opportunity to really serve in GIMPA. So I've always had this at the back of my mind that maybe one day when I'm done with this job, the best way to share your experiences is to be in the classroom, so that you share that with the younger generation of our country. So when this thing happened, and I have friends around, so I call and say, I used to be very busy, very tight. So, you wake up then, you have all the day to yourself. You don't know what to do with it. You are watching TV. If you are not in your constituency, then it's like you just spend most of the time watching TV. I said, no, you can't do that, because with all this huge experience, it is important that you try to share it. So graciously, UPSA offered me the opportunity. And for the past 3 months, I've been doing that, and I must say I'm really enjoying it, because you have seminars where you share your experiences, and you have a master class. These are mature students who are working, so you are talking about life experiences, you are talking about how things get done, how things get knocked down, and things like that. And believe me, it's such a wonderful thing, and I'm really enjoying doing that.
There was a lot of tension, I remember, when this change happened between, of course, yourselves, as in your group of leaders, and the party. Has all that been ironed out now?
Well, obviously, it will take a fool not to put some of this behind you, because you don't need any resolution. You just carry on, because you have to remember, when the tension was on, the Council of Elders came in, His Excellency the President, former President John Mahama steps in, and with myself, Haruna and Aveji, said, look, what is it? It is not a bona fide thing. It is just about the method. You've got the opportunity to serve. Remember, before you served, others were there. Now you've got the opportunity to serve. Yes, the method, everybody saw it to be cruel. It was like a coup d'etat. But that notwithstanding, you cannot carry on a fight unless you want to destroy the party that you have spent all your youthful aiding. So we'll put all those things behind us. And obviously, the new crop of leaders are individuals that were working with us. They were our subordinates, and I would call them, everybody would say they were veterans like my boys. Remember, the new leader was the ranking on finance, who was working very closely with me as chief whip. The chief whip was the ranking on roads, was working very closely with me. the deputy leader, new deputy leader, was also our ranking on trade. They were all working very closely with me. If these are persons that have helped us to succeed in one way or the other, if for whatever reason, by default, or whatever reason they now are serving into the new leadership, it is our responsibility to support them. I mean, despite all that, because believe me, I spent all my youthful age in this house, and I should be the last one to destroy the party or the legacy that we have set. So we have put those things behind us, and we are working with them, doing the best that we can to support them, to make sure that at least the caucus succeeds.
And then, coincidentally, shortly after you cease to be Majority Chief Whip, then comes the primary in your constituency that also threw up a significant challenge. It almost as if from your removal as Majority Chief Whip to the primaries, everything was stuck up against you. One, to get, of course, you lost your place as majority, and then possibly to lose your seat as well. Have you recovered from that, the primaries?
Obviously, because, I mean, you see, I have gone through primaries. I've contested 5 times, and this is the 6th time I'm making an attempt. And I've gone through primaries. This will be the 4th. So it is not new to me. It is only on 2 occasions that I didn't go for primaries. The first was when the voting was for everybody. And believe me, in my constituency, nobody would dare want to contest me if everybody is to vote, because they know what I've done by the grace of God to the constituency and how the constituency appreciate me. So anytime it's the delegate that you have these skirmishes. But believe me, in 2011 primaries, it's about the same. You had, remember, I'd gone to the ministry, I've had my challenges from the ministry, and then it was followed by the primaries in 2011. And there too, you had people putting their hands in and poking their nose there, but it wasn't as massive as this one. Once people don't wish you to have something and God gives you, why do you have to go back fighting? You let go. So that's my style. I mean, I'm putting all those things behind me because, believe me, I mean, it was very painful. I mean, you ask yourself, all this sacrifice, all this time and energy, the enthusiasm that you have put in, all the things that you have done, why will this happen to you? But it's happened, and by the grace of God, you survive it. Remember, others couldn't. I mean, very good MPs, I can bet you, by every measure and standard, could not survive it, and you have survived it. So why should you continue to carry that kind of weight? You let go and just look forward with what is ahead of you. Most importantly, we need to keep a caucus together. We need to be able to win as enough. We need to be able to win more seats in 2024. We need to even win the presidency itself in 2024. If this cannot be a more important focus, what else? I mean, it is not, if may God forbid, if I win as one saying we are remaining in opposition, what benefit does it bring to me? If I win as one say and then at the end of the day, our seats, the 137, comes back to 106, may God forbid, what is the essence? Because it will put us in a more difficult situation. So it is about, yes, winning as one seat, but most importantly, we need to work together to be able to win more seats, to be able to win the presidency, so that we can keep the party stronger. Remember, leadership in the party is just a duration. You have this crop, definitely in 3-4 years, they'll be gone, another crop will come. So when things happen, you don't just take it against the party. Yeah, you may have your reservation. You will learn the lessons from them, but you have to keep looking forward and keep working hard, because at the end of the day, you don't know where the wind may blow you. The next time, you may realize you may have the opportunity to lead the whole party itself.
Yeah. Possibly even the president of the party, of this country. We'll come to that. But remember when I spoke to you shortly after the primary, something you said that stuck with me, that because of what happened and all the interference in your constituency, sometimes it's difficult to forgive, you said. Have you forgiven now? Well,
sometimes I tell people that issue of forgiveness doesn't really come. What you need to do is to try to forget.
So, fair to say you haven't forgiven, but you've tried to forget.
No, I'm saying that you try to put it behind you. Because some of it, I must admit, they were done in a very clandestine way. So, some you are suspicious of, it's Evans. It is not Evans. I get it. So, who do you demand apology from, and then who do you forgive? Others, yes, they came out openly. and did what they had to do, do you have to carry the burden of hating them, wanting to revenge? Where will that all take you? So the best is to just forget it and just move forward. Focus on the thing that unites us. And then see how we can get unity and be able to cross 2024 successfully. That's most important. Once you cross 2024, by the grace of God, we win the presidency, we have a very comfortable majority in parliament, all the other things will fall in line. In a political party such as NDC, which is so big, you can't have everybody to love you. You can't have everybody to hate you. So you make do with those who love you and tend to live with those who may not like you.
Safe to say you have forgotten but not necessarily forgiven.
Obviously, you have to pick the lessons of them. Because you see, some people are fond of doing this again and again and again. I get it. And then they will rally around and say, oh, let bygone be bygone. And then they will do it again. So the lesson you have to pick is that this is the style of these guys. So you need to keep an eye on them. But for you to be able to focus into the future, you need to learn to forget. So that you forget about all the things that have happened. So that you release that energy of trying to carry all this burden. Use that energy in a positive way. I mean, like I'm saying, we have a sin of what role can we play to ensure that we retain that seat? What role can we play to ensure that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who is our flag bearer, wins the next election? All of us have a role. You can't play the role effectively if you have to keep all this luggage of pain and anguish about one individual or the other. You will not be able to play those roles very effectively. So you learn to just put them behind you and then focus onto the future.
So I like what you're saying. In other words, you've put that behind you. You're focusing on the work ahead, winning the seat for Jachi Kwesi. Yeah. That's the immediate one, and then 2024 also. But you can't say that for the people you know conspired against you, you have completely forgiven those.
No, what I have to do is to keep an eye on their actions and actions and inactions. Because, I mean, the one who wants you to fall in the morning, what makes you believe that the same person will not want you to fall in the afternoon? So you just keep an eye, but you cannot be carrying those luggages, as you move around, because that will be too much for you.
You've mentioned the by-election in Assin North. What's your role in it? Because you have tremendous experience in surviving. And you see a man who is embattled. Yeah. He is being battered on all fronts. What's your role in it? Have you had a conversation to sit with him?
Yeah, we've had.
You were the minority chief whip when his troubles started.
And we have discussed time and time again. And I've told him, some of the things that he and I discussed to get him mentally ready for all this. I can put.
Is he mentally ready?
Yeah, he is. Believe me, he is. And I'll show you, when I was the minority whip, I prepared him. I prepared him for today. And I'm sure the new leadership are continuing with him. And I can bet you, I am very confident that Jachi Kwesi is going to survive this.
He will?
He will, by the grace of God.
Survive what? The elections or the criminal case against him?
He will survive all. Look, between you and I, a lot of things you don't need to put it on in the public. I have told him, Chief, you may end up in prison, but you will keep the seat.
How?
Yes. Kwame Nkrumah was, in prison when he first became a member of parliament. A lot of freedom fighters, a lot of people had gone to prison for wrong reasons, people for no wrong done, they survived it. And when these things were happening in the initial stage, he was, because this is somebody who had lived a very long time abroad. He's not a young man. So he's used to a system where system works. The system works to everybody. You could predict how things could happen. And then he comes into a system where you cannot predict anything. And it's like, initially, he gets almost depressed. So to prepare that person for him to get to where he is, believe me, if this thing, I can tell you in confidence, if this thing had happened, say, within the first 6 months of him becoming a member of parliament, maybe it will be a different thing. But it's happening at the time that he is really prepared mentally for it. And I can bet you heard him say that, look, if you want, get me a room in the court where I have to be sleeping in the court and attending the court, I will still win the That's all we needed.
But
for him to be mentally tough and be ready to go through all the hell that he may be put through and still win the seat.
I just want to point out to you, when you make the point that he may even end up in prison but still keep the seat, that's constitutionally impossible.
That's possible.
Because once you're convicted of a crime, you cannot be a member of parliament.
No, it's not true. I was in this house when Damagarampi was incarcerated. We continue to believe that it was wrongly, he was wrongly incarcerated. And we continue to believe in that. We appealed. He kept his seat till he was pardoned. During President Kufuor, I was in this house. All what matters for us, next week Tuesday, the Atukwesi is going to keep the seat. They can do their worst. The worst they can do is to imprison him, right? He will still keep the seat. That seat will still not be in their hands. And you see, the sad thing, and I keep saying this, and this happens to both sides of the political divide. When we try to use political power to intimidate each other, it erodes the confidence in our democracy.
You think he's been intimidated?
Yes, because you see, Evans, each and every one of us cannot, today, we could easily discount COVID. But when it was happening, and it was so deadly, we didn't even know, there was no vaccine. We didn't know what was going to happen the next day. We saw dead bodies in Europe. We saw dead bodies in North America. Nobody could predict what was going to happen. And this was during the time that this gentleman put in his documentation to renounce his citizenship. You cannot tell me that that delay was genuine. You can't.
But the law is the law.
I'm saying that, yes.
You must not
Evans,
be a dual citizen. You cannot have allegiance to the country.
I agree.
But the Supreme Court had interpreted that.
And
it's black and white.
Yes, and I say yes. And I'm sorry to say, our laws in giving them meaning should reflect our reality. Because if this was someone who had put in his renunciation demand late, there's evidence that, look, you knew that the Electoral Commission will be filing in October, and you chose to put your renunciation 1st October. I mean, you are corporate, but you could see how long he has done that. But COVID had delayed it. And as at the day we were electing him, he had already gotten the certificate, which is in November, before the December election.
But the Supreme Court has settled.
Yeah, they've settled that. And you don't argue that. I'm always saying that in their settling, they should avert their mind to the reality of the time. We cannot say that the reality of the time was ordinary. So because it was all ordinary, you have to treat it ordinarily. It was a special dispensation that none of us had seen before. I mean, all of us who are living today, probably unless those who are very, very old, over 100 years, the last pandemic was over 100 years ago. You cannot say that that was not a very special situation. 2, avert your mind to the cost to the states in organizing a by-election. Look at the possible, I've heard there was an accident, some people have got injured, both parties, right? I mean, people have got injured. For me, in running a state, yes, the laws are there. We need to give true meaning to the laws, as the Supreme Court will always do. But when there's a special dispensation, you cannot discount that. And I thought that in this case, yes, the Supreme Court have done a settle, but they failed to consider the special situation that we found ourselves.
Back to his criminal trial, though. If once the Supreme Court had established that he actually, at the time that he was filling his form, did not have the renunciation certificate, and the state believes that he had lied, he had perjured himself, the state has every right to prosecute him.
No, because you see, have you looked at the form that we completed? I know you've never completed.
But that's why he's in the court of competent jurisdiction.
That you have
that place he can claim himself.
Yes, that's exactly what we're doing. The form, I have completed the form severally. There's a portion where the Electoral Commission will also say that they have gone through all what you have submitted and they are satisfied that you meet the requirement. There's a letter where he wrote to notify the Electoral Commission. I'm going through this process. This is a letter to show that I have put in my renunciation. It didn't hide it from them. So who did he lie to?
Well, that's at the point that he was feeling he knew. And
he made it very known to
the allegiance on the
He made it known to the electoral commission. And they told him, oh, you can go ahead, because they also knew there was a special dispensation, which is the COVID, that was causing the delay. And he had been able to show them all the relevant documents to show that, look, I'm in the process. What do I do? And they advised that you can go ahead.
I mean, if that's...
So who did he lie to?
If it's...
So, yes, if you say that, yeah, as at the day that he filed, since he hadn't gotten the denunciation certificate, he shouldn't be qualified. Well, that's one leg. But did he lie? He didn't, because he didn't hide any information from anybody.
If it's as simple as that, then you shouldn't worry at all.
Well, that's one leg. But did he lie? He didn't, because he didn't hide any information from anybody.
If it's as simple as that, then you shouldn't worry at all. Pending, which is the CI that will make the Ghana card the sole document for voter registration. The EC, I know last week, has been in the House, or the week before, trying to push it through. And I spoke to the Director of Elections, who says they are still committed to pushing through that CI that will make the Ghana card the sole identity document. But I also remember before you went for the break the last time, there was some consensus that the reworking of the CI that would include the guarantor system. Where are we on that process? Because you started this fight before you exited as a minority group. Where are we on this?
Well, the way the House works is that until something is on the floor, you cannot sit and tell you this is what is there. We are hearing all manner of...
Chairman Sabumsi told me last week, categorically in an interview, that consensus reworking it was dependent on the number of factors, and so it's subject to review now.
And you see, this is what I keep saying, is that our colleagues in the majority should be very careful. You see, it is one of the things that they have done that have made this parliament, for lack of better word, very inefficient. And I'm sorry to say, if we are not careful, this parliament may go down as the most inefficient parliament that we've had because of this kind of behavior. Because when we had this 137, it requires that we all move away from our extreme positions into a middle ground where we try to build consensus, because that's the only way this house can then move. And we have tried, when we're in leadership, to do that a number of times. Yes, sometimes you get them reneging on their plate. And I can remember this was something that we started. The new leadership on our side, the minority, concluded. And that, if I'm not mistaken, it's about the first consensus that they managed to build with them. If they renege on it and reintroduce the CI in the same form and manner that it was before, that would be big betrayal to the new leadership. And you see, when they do that, they put the new leadership in a more difficult situation.
But what's their consensus? Can you confirm it? We saw the document.
You remember that?
How did that come about?
Yeah, you remember that there was this taxes that they badly needed.
Yeah.
And we were bent on saying that before our dead body, if you want, come and vote, defeat us. That's the only way you can have it. And that day, remember, one of our colleagues was sick, who ended up dying. The second was involved in an accident, so they were shot by two. So I mean, their back was to the wall, and they were forced to have this consensus. And those taxes were passed that day to enable them go for this IMF thing, among other things. Now, if they renege, they should not forget the situation that forced them to negotiate could happen again. It is not anybody's wish that any member falls sick or something happens, but because of the closeness of the numbers. And I keep telling people, it's not just about one. Like this fight we're having about Jatikwesi. May God forbid, may God forbid, may God forbid, may God perish the thought. Should they even win as enough? It's not going to make much difference. I mean, ask your correspondent in this house. There have been so many instances where they are struggling to even get 135, they don't. Sometimes they struggle to even have 130, they can't have. Because you have ministers who are traveling, people, MPs are human beings. We are not like 130, they can't have. Because you have ministers who are traveling, people, MPs are human beings. We are not like